We had UFC 259 last Saturday. It's Thursday now. We're 2 days away from Muhammad and Leon Edwards. So since 259, right after 259, actually, Adesanya and Eugene Behrman, his coach, mentioned going back to middleweight. Excuse me. They had mentioned that before, but they have their eyes set on Darren Till, so they're pulling for Darren Till to win against Marvin Vettori, and this isn't the first time I've heard them mention Adesanya wanting to fight Till. At least the second time. I can't remember after which event it was. Maybe it was leading up to the Till and Whittaker fight. They were mentioning that. I can't recall. But they brought this up before. And when they mentioned it again after the fight against Blachowicz, I kind of found it interesting given the trajectory of the division since that initial time they mentioned it. You've got Whittaker, who I mentioned one of the other recordings we had that I felt he should be fighting Adesanya next. I don't even think he should be fighting Costa, frankly. I think it should be Adesanya and Whittaker, but whatever. So I was kind of wondering, and the reason I said let's hop on and do one of these is like, why does Adesanya want to fight Till? You refreshed yourself on Till. You saw his last couple fights. Do you see anything as to why they might be targeting Till? Anything outside of maybe like the fact that they both like to talk to each other? Maybe they can stir it up to make some buys out of it. Is there anything else you think might be behind it?
Not really, man. I saw the fights. The last two that I refreshed myself on was obviously the one against. Wow, I'm gonna blank
Whittaker.
on that one.
Yeah, Whittaker and Gastelum. Yeah.
Gastelum is who I was blanking. I'm like, oh my god, what's his name? Yeah, that was completely unimpressive. I felt like there was nothing there. He was riding the clinch the first 2 rounds pretty much, and it looked like he just cruised his way to victory. But it wasn't impressive, or it wasn't a struggle or anything. It looked like he just took control of the octagon. Yeah. That was it. Just walked his way. The fight with Whittaker was much better, I thought. It was almost like there was a completely different person in there. During the fight with Gastelum, he was doing this interesting thing where he would circle around the octagon, constantly circle around. And against Whittaker, there was none of that. It was very head to head. That end of I think it was the end of the 5th, where Whittaker had some excellent takedowns, and I think that's where, that's where what's his name is weak. Wow, I'm having a bad day today, man. Till, yeah, sorry, dude. And I even woke up on time and had my coffee and everything. But yeah, it was weird seeing that the difference in how he was fighting between the two fights. But I still don't think that. Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that justifies fighting Adesanya. You're talking about a dude that's...
Adesanya calling him out too. It's not, and I was watching an interview with Till, and he's like, I'm not the one calling him out. He's calling me out. So that's what's interesting, is that he's not even the one saying, hey man, I want to fight Adesanya next. It's Adesanya saying it, and again, saying it for at least the second time. And they mentioned, they being Adesanya's coach Eugene and Adesanya mentioned, like, they're not interested in a Whittaker fight, or Whittaker's. I can't imagine Whittaker's not interested. So they said they're not interested. It's like, yeah, but it's not entirely. It shouldn't be. If it is, what is your interest and who do you want to fight? It should be like, okay, what's the standings? Like, Whittaker beat Till, and when I say he beat Till, it's not like this was like back in 2017. He just beat him. Yeah. That was both of their last fight was against each other, and Whittaker won. So you're telling me if Till wins against Vettori, which is also a big if, I actually think Vettori will win that fight.
I agree with you on that one.
If Till wins that fight, he's going to fight Adesanya next? And credit to Till, he didn't insinuate that by any means. He had an interview with Ariel Helwani that was put up a couple days ago. He was saying, like, if they want to have me, if I beat Vettori and they want to have me fight Whittaker again, I'm all for it. It's like, well, you kind of should be, given that you lost. I don't see what grounds you would have to beat Vettori and then leapfrog to a fight with. I mean, what about Cannonier? Like, I don't think he should even be leapfrogging Cannonier. Yeah, Cannonier lost his last fight, but I think that was his first loss in the last few. And
that was against Whittaker as well. So
yeah, and that was a hell of a fight as well. So I don't even know if you can get past Cannonier, to be honest. let alone leapfrog and then go straight to Adesanya. So it's kind of interesting. I'm trying to figure out what it is about Adesanya's camp that they're targeting that Till fight. So this is the other thing is, so you look at the standings as it is. Obviously, Adesanya already fought Whittaker. He beat him, took his belt. He just beat Costa. He was originally saying, he also had said he would like to fight Cannonier back when Whittaker and Cannonier were going to fight. Whittaker beat Cannonier, so that kind of went away. So maybe that's why they're not saying Cannonier, given that he already lost to Whittaker just now. But then using that same logic, Whittaker also beat Till. So I don't know. So there's that. And then at number 4, you have Till. Number 5, you have Vettori. And Adesanya has already beat Vettori. Granted, it was back in 2018. Vettori is his also trajectory has gone up since then. He's already fought Derek Brunson. He's already fought Kelvin Gastelum. And then at that point, you have number 6, you have Jack Hermanson as well. Vettori just beat Hermanson, so that doesn't make sense. So, and he already said he's not interested in fighting Kevin Holland, which I don't think Kevin Holland has quite earned that yet. And I think even Kevin Holland has said the same. This is Adesanya.
Oh, Adesanya said that?
Yeah. And even Kevin Holland's like, I think I'm still a couple fights. And frankly, Kevin Holland has made it clear he's not necessarily fighting for a belt. He's just fighting for money. And that's perfectly fine. At least
he's a great fighter though, dude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
so
sleep
at this
on
point
him.
now we've reached number 9, number 10, Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall's is no chance in hell he's fighting anytime soon for a belt.
Is it Uriah Hall that got called gun shy?
Gun shy. Uriah Gun Shy Hall, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. It's not completely surprising he's saying Darren Till, because you look at everything else, like, well, he's not going to go any lower than that. But they also said, like, let's see if he gets past Vettori, then we would they said, we're pulling for Till. We want Till to win so we can have Till. Okay. Even if Till wins though, I still don't know if he's going to be fighting. Now, if Costa beats Whittaker, that might change it a little bit. If Costa beats Whittaker, then I think there's more of a case to be made of Till fighting Adesanya, or then you can maybe do Till. I mean, Till versus Cannonier doesn't even entirely make sense either, because then if Cannonier wins, what, does he get to fight Adesanya? I don't know about that. But if Costa beats Whittaker, I don't think Costa should be fighting Adesanya. So it's fairly convoluted. It just seems as convoluted as it is. I don't think it makes entirely much sense for it to be if Till wins against Vettori, he fights Adesanya. I'm not there yet. I can maybe be swayed on it, but I think if Whittaker beats Costa, that should be the next fight that Israel Adesanya has, should be against Robert Whittaker, and there's like no question about that, in my opinion. It shouldn't be, okay, Whittaker wins and Till wins, they face each other. No, Whittaker wins, he's fighting Adesanya. That's going to be 3 straight fights that he would have won after losing to Adesanya, and against legitimate people. He beat Till and Cannonier. I mean, he beat top 5. He lost to the champion. He lost to the number 1 guy, or whatever ranking was Adesanya at the time. Okay, lost his belt. You gave him 2 fights against top 5 guys. He beats them both. Now he's got the number 2 guy. If he beats him, he bet 3 of the top 5. What else do you want from him?
Yeah, man, I don't know. That was an info dump. I got to be honest. I was looking at some other stuff while you were going down that entire list. But I don't know. As far as who Adesanya fights next, to me, it's kind of like it's up in the air, man. Because like you said, the division's in a weird spot a little bit. I definitely don't think Till should be leapfrogging the way like that would insinuate, right? Like if he's 1-1 in the division. Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense, man. So and it's kind of moot point too, because I'm gonna take Vettori as my pick for when that fight comes around. And kind of related to the division, I'm curious, what's up with you know what? Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's not a very clear cut picture, that top 7 or so, but it just doesn't make sense to me for that to be the case. Because again, the lone person that Till has beat in this division is Kelvin Gastelum. All right. And then he's lost to Robert Whittaker. All right. So you're 1-1 and you're ranked number 4. You came up from welterweight, where I think he lost his last 2 or 3, something like that.
Yeah.
2 of his last 3.
When he beat Gastelum, I think he was on a lose streak.
Yeah. And because prior to that, prior to Gastelum, I believe he lost to Masvidal.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting thing where these guys, and that's another interesting one. These guys will be in one division, they hop over to another division, whether it be up or down, but then like they kind of carry their ranking anyway, and they just kind of like leapfrog everyone else. You saw it almost happen with Cody Garbrandt when he was going to drop down and fight Figueiredo initially before Moreno did. Garbrandt went from like number 5 in the bantam division to, all right, I'm going to switch over to flyweight and fight for the title without even fighting anyone. So yeah, so their reputation, their standing, and their ability to sell obviously will follow them. And again, a Till and Adesanya fight is going to be fun in terms of the lead up. The fight itself, I don't know, man. You would think it'd be a fun fight, but both of these guys have shown that they'll sit back, and they've also both shown that they will attack. So you don't know which one it would come down to at that point, what type of fight it'd be stylistically. They're both more than capable strikers, but obviously Adesanya I'd have taking that one, but I just
it'd be a no-brainer for me.
Appealing.
Yeah, there's a no-brainer there. I mean, well, they're both strikers because I don't see Till going on the ground. And even in his fight against Whittaker, he had nothing to do down there. So I'm actually curious to see how this goes for Vettori, man, considering he's got that Brazilian jiu-jitsu background. I'm wondering how he's going to be able to handle Till's striking, and if he's going to try to mitigate that by taking him down and keeping him there.
I mean, Marvin's a dog. We saw the fight against Hermanson. The only thing, and I forgot who mentioned it. I think it was actually Darren Till. He takes damage. Like if you look at him after the Hermanson fight, his face is pretty nicked up. But I mean, he looked fine fighting, but he will get cut, as he showed against Hermanson. But he was pretty dominant. I thought, dominant. I don't remember the scorecard. I think they had him at 3-2. But I thought he did pretty well. He did do pretty well. And obviously it took him from, what was he, number 13 at the time of that fight to what is he now? Number 5. And now, again, I have him. Let me see if there's actually, I don't know if there'd be any lines up for that, given that I think they officially announced the fight today. I saw them posted today. Vettori versus Till odds, because I am interested to know who opened at what. They both opened around -110, so the betting lines have them pretty even.
How?
Which is, it's not entirely surprising to me. I think I just was I'd be surprised if, I would have been more surprised if Vettori was kind of a sizable underdog, given that he opened as he ended as the favorite against Hermanson. He opened as the underdog against Hermanson, but he closed as the favorite. I think he ended up at like -135 or something. It'd be interesting to see if Vettori wins, then what does the conversation become in the middleweight division? Is it, all right, do we rebook Whittaker and Adesanya? Do we have Whittaker fight Vettori? Which I think if they do that, they're screwing over Whittaker, frankly, man. This guy's had three guys that he beat in the top 5. Now you're going to have him beat everyone in the top 5 and then go fight the champion. Like, come on, dude.
They're making him work for that belt, dude.
Which is unfortunate because the man, if Whittaker was a talker, he probably would have been able to gotten a fight already, but he's not. And he said, he's like, I'm not one of these guys that's going to go and, show me the money and give me the fights. He's like, no, I'm not going to do any of that. That's not who I am. And props to him for sticking to that. But at the same time, that's unfortunately worked against him. Like he was explaining it like that. He was saying like he wants to fight Adesanya, but he wants to take like the holiday off because he fought, what was it, December, whenever it was that he fought Till. And then, I don't know how Dana took that as, he doesn't want to fight.
July 2020.
Oh, July. Oh, geez, I was way off.
And he fought Cannonier in October.
That's the one I'm thinking of. So after Cannonier, he wanted just to take the holiday off to be with his family. I think he had a newborn or whatever. And Dana somehow interpreted it as, he doesn't want to fight Adesanya. It's like, that's not what he said, dude. He said he doesn't want to fight right now. And he even says, like, look, if that means Izzy has to move up in weight, because at that point it was speculative that he's going to go up to light heavyweight. He's like, if Izzy needs to go up, do his fight, that's fine. Let him go do that, and I'll be here. He did not say, I do not want to fight him. So I don't know where the hell that even came from. And he was pretty calm about that too after. He was like, it's kind of frustrating having that been the interpretation, but what am I supposed to do? So I think it's just that calm demeanor that he has, unfortunately, works against him in these situations where he's not really like bull in the China shop working his way to the title fight. He's just more taking his fights. And it sucks. He's a hell of a fighter too, man. It's so fun watching him fight. I'd love to see a rematch with him and Adesanya, which we very well might. Let's see what happens if he beats Costa again. I don't know what the hell the argument's going to be. If they end up doing a Till and Whittaker, if they both win, I think they're still screwing him over. But I don't know.
I mean, if Costa acts anything like he did in the fight with Adesanya, it wouldn't surprise me if Whittaker is able to take him down a peg or two. Because
At this point, I just want to see Costa eliminated from this sport. A tool bag.
Yeah, he did not show up to that fight at all, man, and
then everything after, though, he was being weird after, and then like even more recently with the whole wine thing, like, oh, I was drunk off of wine or I couldn't sleep. Like, dude, the fight was how many months ago? Why are you bringing all this stuff up again? Just because it's leading up to the Adesanya Blachowicz fight? Stupid. Very annoying. I think he lost a lot of fans, if anything.
I mean, I'm looking at his UFC record right now, and it's kind of interesting to me because I didn't realize that he had the gaps that he has in his fighting history are basically a year long for the most part.
Who are you referencing?
Costa. Yeah, it's nuts, man. So he fought Hall in July of 18. He fought Romero in August of 19, and then he fought Adesanya in September of 2020. So what is that? A year and a month almost between. Yeah, it's a year and a month between those three fights. Why are you not fighting more? It makes no sense to me, and
yeah, I won't comment because I'm not entirely sure. Maybe there was injury. Maybe he's being selective. Looks like he had 3 fights in 2017, and then he had 1 in 2018, and then 1 in 2019 against Romero, and this last one against Adesanya. So I don't know why it kind of slowed down. He went to about once a year the last 3 years, and then 3 times in 2017. What the reason is, I don't know. Frankly, I wasn't familiar with him then to speak to it. But yeah, I don't think he's not yet for him. Definitely not yet for him. Even if he beats Whittaker. If he beats Whittaker and then Till wins, go ahead, book that fight. I don't know. That maybe will, at that point, sure. And then the winner at that point of that, I don't know. But again, I'm not saying matchmaking is easy by any means. I'm talking it through out loud right now, and it's already like, Jesus, this is a shit show. But I think clearly, what should be clear at least is if Whittaker wins, he fights. If Till wins, Whittaker wins, Whittaker fights. Figure out what you're doing with Till, but Whittaker should be fighting Adesanya next if he wins. And I think that should be definitive. I don't know if it will be.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. I think it's unfortunate that Whittaker's not getting a shot, but I think he'll win his next fight, and I think when he does, that should put him square on a trajectory to fight Adesanya for that belt, dude.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to be between him and Costa, and we'll discuss that more in detail either before or after the fight. But that's a fight I look forward to too. Anything else on this topic, Andrew? We just hopped off for this one-off, but any closing remarks on it?
Not really, man. Just I say that, and then I was going to say something, but really, I think Till definitely looked like a different person, between those 2 fights. So I would be, I'd be curious to see how this goes, especially considering that. Jesus Christ, I'm blanking again.
Vettori?
Especially considering that, yeah, sorry, dude, that Vettori is also southpaw, and Gastelum was also southpaw, so maybe that circling thing that I was talking about had to do with the both of them being southpaw.
Maybe.
And since he was up against Whittaker's orthodox, I believe he didn't need to do anything like that. I don't know. I'm talking out loud as well because I'm curious why we didn't see any of that during the Whittaker fight. But I'd be curious to see if he does that little circling maneuver again against a fellow southpaw fighter. And I'm curious to see if Vettori is able to. I think Vettori will be able to take him down, but I want to see if he's going to be able to work and if Till's going to have any defense against it.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I think Marvin wins that. We'll talk about the 2 leading up to. That's about almost a month to the date away. That'll be on ABC. Big opportunity for both of those guys with more eyes on them, given that it's a cable event. That I don't have any other remarks on Adesanya versus possibly Till either. I just thought it was kind of interesting seeing that they brought it up again after the 259. So I figured let's hop on and talk about it because I'd be interested to. I haven't seen any other opinions on it yet. I haven't really looked for it either, but I'm curious what some of the other quote unquote pundits might be feeling about that.
I'm not a pundit, man. I'm a casual clown, all right?
You're not a pundit. I was talking about the actual pundits. All right, then, Andrew, if that's it, then yeah, let's sign off on that. Let's see what happens this coming Saturday as well between Edwards and Muhammad. Edwards winning might propel him to a title fight. Edwards winning might propel him. It might force Colby Covington's hand to fight him. Who knows? Let's see what happens there too. But until that, next week we'll do our recap of this Saturday's event. And we'll kind of continue there. Maybe we'll have some more clarity on what we just discussed today too.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Later, man.